Good evening. Welcome to the Sunday night review show of Last Bowl Boxing. Obviously, we have some couple of big cards, massive cards at the weekend. One from Texas, which we've got at the bottom of the screen, and we'll talk about that first. And then over to Saudi Arabia for the big card last night. Some really, really good fights on these cards, lads. And I wasn't on the show on Thursday. I wasn't very well. I got man flu. And I was feeling sorry for myself. So I do apologise, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I think Last Bowl Boxing might have got taken off the air if I'd been on the show. I'm going to be professional tonight, seeing as though I'm hosting, and I've got Last Bowl Boxing splattered behind me. I can't even pretend I'm not part of the Last Bowl Boxing team, can I? Can't even get away with that and say I'm just someone coming on the show giving a comment. So we're going to start with Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. And then we'll talk about the proper boxing afterwards, if that's all right with you boys. That's about as quick as I'm going to get, I think. Daz, I'm going to come to you, mate. And I'm coming to you because I know how much respect you have for Iron Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson from the late 80s that used to beat people before they entered the ring. He got people beat before they got to the ring. You could see the knees clacking together. They were that scared, mate, on the ring walks. I looked at Mike Tyson walking to the ring last night, and I got that same vibe from him. Unfortunately, it didn't sit well at all. And I would have said on Thursday night, if I'd have been on the show, that the fight shouldn't be happening. I would have been a bit stronger about it, but like I say, I'm playing nice. Let's hear firstly, mate, what you thought of the condition of Mike, and then what you thought of what went off in those 8 rounds.
Well, I mean, I've not watched it, so
have you've heard? Have you always seen any?
Yeah, I've seen little pictures and little snippets of videos, obviously on social media. I've not watched it. I said I weren't going to watch it.
Yeah, I've not watched it, but I've seen bits that have fell on YouTube.
Yeah, I've no interest in seeing that. His condition, he looked well for 58. You know, looked in good condition, but
even his bottom half,
his legs look terrible. His legs look very skinny, and mainly his thighs. His thighs look really, really weak. Yep. You know, no muscle. I mean, Mike in 80s and 90s had massive thighs. there were no gap between his thighs. They were massive. Very sad situation. Jake's. I think Jake, with what I'm reading, Jake could have probably stopped him, by all accounts. And that's how much this fight was just awful. I mean, listen, you couldn't have even put Jake anywhere near him if he'd got 50% of himself left, because he'd have been doing a murder charge. I don't really like to give this clown much credit, but much airtime. His brother Logan, I mean, he's just an absolute tool. That man.
Did you hear? Have you heard what he said?
I've seen it. Yeah, on a little snippet. I mean, listen. At least Jake, I suppose, acted with a bit of humility and respect.
By all accounts, mate, he was very respectful.
Yeah. Listen, I think what it is, mate, I think Jake's probably a fan and just thought, I wanted to share a ring with him.
Yeah.
But listen, do it privately. Ask him to spar you or something. Yeah. It's sad that,
in the sidebar, by the way.
It's sad that it's for for money that he's doing this, and it's just it's not great. It's not great at all. It's sad, mate. And I've only seen little snippets of videos, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that at all.
You know what? I'm really. I mean, we obviously, everyone that watches this show knows that as a team, as the lads that come on the show on a regular basis, we have a WhatsApp group and we chat about a lot of stuff prior to fights while fights are on, and we were all talking about the fact that this was an eight round 2-minute fight with 14-ounce gloves. How the hell this can be sanctioned by the Texas Boxing Commission staggers me, mate.
I mean, you look at Tyson's record and his last 4 fights now, or is it 3? It might be 3. I mean, he's got lost to Danny Williams. He's got a loss to Kevin McBride. And then he's got a loss to Jake Paul. I mean,
ridiculous.
You know, it's crazy, mate. Absolutely crazy. It's just
as much as I'm seething with Jake Paul for making this fight happen. Because let's be right, when you're offered 20 million, by all accounts, is what Tyson got for this fight. When you're offered 20 million to have a little bit of a walk round, and that's all it was, lads.
Yeah, there was no punches thrown.
Let's not fool ourselves here. 75,000 people paid probably very, very good money to sit in an arena and watch a walk round.
2 people paid £2 million, $2 million for them 2 seats, literally in on ring apron. Yeah, I mean, listen, there were odd punch thrown, and it was just it was scripted walk round, really.
I mean, whether it was meant to be that is another matter. But this is where I'm going to give, and it's the only time I'll do it probably. It's where I'm going to give Jake Paul a little bit of credit, because I think Mike came out for the first, 30 seconds of that first round, maybe the first minute of that first round. He came out, looked like he got a little bit about him. Tried to get forward, tried to pressure, tried to land some shots, but then all of a sudden it fell apart. And clearly, he realized, he must have realized straight away, shit, my legs there's nothing in my legs, I've got nothing. And I think very quickly after the first couple of rounds, Jake Paul realized that as well, and he didn't press. He threw the odd shot at Mike, nothing with any power. But he didn't walk forward and put anything on Mike, mate. And that's where I've got to give him some credit and some respect.
Yeah.
I say that, but then that's just a walk round. That's not a proper boxing match.
No.
And that's what you told the fans they were getting.
Yeah. And
they didn't. So let me just come to Sean, because I think you watched the fight live, Sean, did you?
Yes, I did, yeah.
You can probably give a better insight to what me and Daz can, because we've, like I say, I saw a few snippets on YouTube and various socials and whatever. Let's get it from you. You've heard what we've said. What's your take?
Yeah, I mean, even if it was a walk round, to be honest, there was quite a lot of people, because I was following it on my phone as well as watching it. Tony Bellew in particular, they were sort of advocating for Tyson to be pulled out, even though he wasn't getting punched, because it was a really hard watch. Even watching him try and move around, he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I think, unfortunately, it was just a sad spectacle, to be honest. And I wish I didn't watch it live, to be honest. I wish I just watched the highlights, because it was just a waste of time, unfortunately.
What's your reaction to Logan Paul's "I'd kill you, Mike" comment?
I didn't see it, to be honest. It was the first I heard of it this evening, so I don't know what he has or hasn't said.
So the clip I've seen is, it looks like Mike and Jake are getting interviewed together in the ring. Logan Paul stood behind him, and he asked Mike Tyson whether that's it, and Mike says no. And they asked him who he'd like to fight next, and he looked at Logan and said, "Logan Paul. Why not Logan Paul?" To which Logan Paul kind of smirks and comes out with, "I'd kill you, Mike."
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's not the time or the place to be doing that. Why not go, Mike? It'd be an honor. Why not? And even if you've got no intention of doing it, have a bit of respect for a man that is other than Muhammad Ali is the most recognized boxer of all time. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not use that opportunity to show the man some respect?
Yeah, I just think it's his character.
Exactly that, mate. It just shows me what that man's all about.
I mean, to be fair, Jake is the better boxer of the two as well.
Well,
you know, I mean, it's not saying a lot, like, but he, you know, he is. I just think it's a very, very sad situation for someone who at one point was probably considered to be, probably could have been the greatest heavyweight ever. You know, there was a time when people were saying, you know, Tyson would have beaten Ali, everyone. You know, the Tyson that beat Spinks and that, just crazy, mate, to then see this.
Yeah, I don't want to give too much on this tonight, lads. I saw something and I couldn't believe the gall of the man. But I've seen something on socials that has kind of.
I think I know what you're going to say. You're going to say Conor McGregor, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
Mr. Frotch.
No. Mate, it's a billion times worse.
Go on then. I'm intrigued.
Arthur Beterbiev.
Oh yeah, offering
offering. And then Jake Paul's comment back is, it just goes to show that I run boxing.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit of something. I'll tell you a little bit of something I heard as well. Arthur Beterbiev absolutely idolizes Mike Tyson.
Oh, wow.
So I've been, you know, I've heard from a few people. Arthur Beterbiev absolutely idolizes Tyson. Absolutely fanatical of him.
Really?
And that screams to me of that's a Tyson Holmes situation, isn't it? You know, because Tyson idolized Ali.
Yeah.
So Beterbiev's probably thinking, get him in with me. Even Francis Ngannou, mate, has said that when he sees Jake Paul, he's going to slap, and Logan Paul, he's going to slap the shit out of him.
The problem you've got, though, mate, is everybody's angry about it. All these professional boxers want to kill him because of the They say the disrespect he's shown Tyson. I think it's disrespectful that he's offered Tyson an unbelievable amount of money to the point where Tyson probably couldn't say no.
Yeah.
That's the disrespectful part for me, is that he's put Tyson in a position where he couldn't say no to the money.
Sad thing is as well, mate, by all accounts, how much money of that 20 million is Tyson actually going to get? Because he's got a lot of debt. So, you know, what's he coming out with in that?
Jack in the sidebar has said, Arthur Beterbiev has said he started boxing because of Tyson.
Idolizes him. So Beterbiev's thinking, get him at me. And Beterbiev would, you know, probably do what Tyson would have done 20 years ago.
Okay, devil's advocate time here. Do you think for 1 second Jake Paul signs a proper professional boxing contract, 12-round, 3-minute rounds against Arthur Beterbiev?
No chance in
without any concessions in that contract.
Not a chance.
You cannot land a shot on me. Concessions.
Not a chance. Not a chance. He won't. Listen, it don't last a round. Don't last a round.
But this to me, though, Daz, this goes to the comments that I put in the chat, and they were very strong comments, and that is that he's conning the public. He's not conning boxing fans, because the boxing fans are no different, but he's conning the millions of people that follow him on socials. He's conning the 1 million or 1.5 million people that paid for that watch the stream on Netflix on Friday night. However many it was.
It's just a society we live in. You know what I mean?
It is, guys. But unfortunately, all those people, all those young kids that follow him on socials, that I've done since he was, or the group of them that have probably stayed with him, but all of those kids that follow him because of his Disney time, they all think he's a boxer.
Yeah. They do, just like they think KSI is a boxer.
Yeah.
And all them lot. You know what I mean? Crazy.
Anyway, I'm going to give Sean the last say on this before we move on to, like I say, the real fights of the night. Sean, all this is going to do, in my opinion, is give him a bigger ego than he's already got and make him think he's better than he is. I know he showed a bit of respect on the night, and you got to give him credit for that. He showed a bit of respect in the post-fight presser as well. But this isn't going to stop him believing that he takes on the world, is it? I know a lot of that is for clicks. A lot of that is to get attention.
He's a marketing genius, mate.
He's a marketing genius in that sense, but he does actually believe it. He does actually believe he's a proper boxer, and he does actually believe that.
I'm not sure he does, you know. I'm not sure he does. Honestly, I look and I think with how clever he is with business, I'm not sure he actually does believe that. I mean, he was talking Canelo and everything after. I just think he does it for clicks. I just don't think, you know, I think he's one of them.
That was going to be my question to Sean. Does he ever fight a boxer with a pulse?
No, I don't think so. And that's the whole point of being a YouTuber, isn't it? You put videos out there for clicks. So he's definitely got the brains and the business acumen. But no, I think he'll the closest he'll get probably will be fighting Tommy Fury again, if you class him as a boxer, to be honest.
Well, I've given my opinions on that in the past without being disrespectful to Tommy. So we'll leave that one as it is. Okay, moving on to the more important and the what was the headliner of the night. Katie Taylor defends a super lightweight titles against Amanda Serrano in what was once again an all-time classic. Some saying the best female fight of all time. It was definitely right up there with the first fight. How Amanda Serrano got through the fight after that cut staggers me, to be quite honest. The cut was dreadful. But she did. And I'm sure we're going to have different opinions here about how that scorecard should have gone. Copy box had Amanda Serrano throwing over 100 punches more than Katie Taylor. But Katie Taylor does. She's been in a number of fights now that have been really, really close. Delphine Persoon.
Twice, wasn't it?
Yeah, the second time I think she won clearly. The first time, I didn't think Katie Taylor won that first fight.
Yeah,
the first Amanda Serrano fight, I thought she lost that as well. That was very, very close. And the first Chantel Cameron fight, sorry, the second Chantel Cameron fight, again I thought was really, really close. I do think she won that one just. But very, very close fights. She does something, Daz, and you might be able to explain this better or get me to understand it. She does something in those rounds that makes those judges pick her for the round on them very, very close rounds. What is it?
You know what, mate? I can't even say that she has last word in exchanges because I think Serrano does that as well. This fight, mate. Listen, I've not seen a better two female fighters than these two. I've not. They're unbelievable. Katie gets a lot of stick for her head, and this is going to sound a little bit controversial, but she falls in with the punches. So
100% she does, yeah.
Yeah, she falls in. She makes a mistake that we try and iron out of fighters. She falls in with the punches. She reaches in.
She does, but she keeps balance. That's
Yeah.
the strange thing.
Yeah, so her head follows. I mean,
Yeah.
technically on that aspect, she's awful because she falls in. I mean, I'm saying Katie Taylor's awful on that aspect. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous, but she does. She falls in, and her head follows, and it clashes. There's no intent there at all. No intentional headbutts. It's just momentum. So yeah, no intention there whatsoever. People calling her a dirty fighter. Listen, I sort of said it after the second Chantal Cameron fight, but when you go back and look at Katie, the more she's slowing down a bit, the more she's falling in.
I'm glad, Daz. I'm glad that you said that, because I've been thinking it, but then I've second guessed myself.
Yeah.
I'm not a boxer, as you know. I'm just a fan that has an opinion. I didn't want to be the idiot that come out with an opinion of Katie Taylor falls in when she's probably the best female fighter of all time.
Yeah,
so I'm glad.
Katie Taylor's technique is fucking awful.
I'm glad that you've said it, because I was going to say that's why there's so many clashes of heads in her fights.
Yeah, listen, it's plain to see that she falls in. You know what I mean? It's just what she does. As she's slowed down a bit and got older, she does it even more. But saying that about an Olympic champion, listen, it's just what she does. There's no malice in it. Why would you attempt to headbutt someone from 2 or 3 feet away? You can headbutt someone, get up close and do it. It's not malicious. The cut. I've had a bit of a conversation about that yesterday, and
sorry, I'm just laughing at Jack's comment.
I know, I've seen it. And the thing with the cut is, obviously, one of my fighters got a cut down here. It was down there, near the bridge of the nose, down the eyebrow. And the blood was flowing down here and then into the eye, so it was going into the eye. I basically said I would have preferred to have Serrano. Now this is going to sound weird, but stick with me here. I said I would have preferred to have had Serrano's cut than that one there. And people said, "Are you mad?" And I went, "Well, probably a little bit, but let me explain myself." Amanda's cut was quite, diagonal. It wasn't going across straight. It was a little bit diagonal. So
the blood was dripping out the side of.
So the blood would come out here, down there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The horrific part of it was the size of it and how wide it was. So for blood flow, I would have rather have had that, because it had been going down face. But obviously, you look at a cut that wide, listen, you could start going into territory of getting eye damage. Do you know what I mean? So, but blood flow, I would have preferred that. Cutman did a great job, really, to be fair. I've seen smaller axe wounds, to be honest.
Were you thinking the worst, that the fight was going to get stopped? Yeah,
I thought so. But then you think, well, it's a bit of a Tyson Fury situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's you sort of think, it'd have been interesting if it had been stopped at that time. But yeah, listen, Amanda was saying, listen, she was blatantly getting hit with Katie's head, but it wasn't intentional.
And unfortunately, and I've been a very, very strong advocate for how respectful Amanda Serrano is to fellow boxers. She couldn't be any more respectful to every other fighter that she ever messages or tweets about or anything. It's always positivity.
Yeah, well,
she's even come out and said she was constantly getting headbutted.
Yeah,
they're not the sort of words that Amanda Serrano normally uses.
She's also put some art sins and said, eat at moment, we get a bit carried away. She's not said that she didn't get headbutted, because she did.
Yeah.
But she said, eat at moment, love Katie, perfect dance partner. I know there's talk of him doing it again. I don't want to see that.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question to you, mate.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry for
No, you're all right.
I don't want to see that again. She's 2-0, deservedly or not. She's 2-0. Should be 1-1 for me. Because I actually thought Katie won this fight, if I'm honest.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Razor thin.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to argue with anyone who says Serrano or a draw. It was that close, mate. They were.
I mean, it's actually refreshing that the judges got the scores exactly the same.
I don't believe either for 1 minute these CompuBox stats. They can't be right.
I didn't see that she was throwing on more than double the amount of punches.
I mean, how can a computer, ascertain what lands and what doesn't? I mean, unless there's some sort of massive technology, and I don't know, mate. There's always flaws with technology, always, and there's always flaws with with human eye. But apparently, CompuBox is controlled by human eye. The press, someone's just watching. Right. I don't know if I'm right, but apparently it's controlled by someone who just presses buttons every time they think a punch lands. So
that's still that's still human error then.
Yeah, exactly.
They could be on the blind side to shots and not see them.
Yeah, exactly. So really, this 109 extra punches, I'm like, because I've said on our group chat, I said, I don't see how. I mean, if Amanda actually did land 109 extra punches, she wins the fight, because she's not going to come out in first round and land 109 punches straight off. So she's 109 in front and then keep it going all the way. It's just silly. It's ludicrous. So, I mean, for me, there's only one fight, and that's Chantal Cameron.
Right. Let me just go to a couple of comments in the sidebar. Jack's typing away. He's put Heppel got one that runs straight down into his eye in final fight. Said he had zero visibility, zero vision, so he wonders what Serrano could see.
Everything. Because if you listen, Jack, it ran down there.
He's also put, I thought Katie won the first fight and lost this one.
No, she lost the first one for me.
I think she lost the first one as well. So he says, but if it's 2-0, we don't need a trilogy. So he's agreeing with you, Daz.
True.
We should have a third fight. I'll give you my opinion in a minute. I'm going to come to Sean now. Sean, without a shadow of a doubt, we've been lucky to be boxing fans in an era with two of the very best female fighters of all time in two of the very best female fights of all time in the space of a couple of years. Hats off, take a bow, Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano. I don't think we're ever going to see the likes again in female boxing to that standard. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get another 10 fights like that, because females see that and they go into gyms because they're so excited about what they've seen. Break down your opinions of the fight for me, please.
Yeah, well, just as you both said, it was a fantastic fight, and I just can't speak any more highly of it, to be honest. Forget men, forget female boxing, just boxing. That's probably the best fight I've seen this year, to be honest. I don't think we're ever going to see two fights so competitive for a while across any fight, to be honest with you. And that just speaks to the testament of both ladies, to be honest. I felt Katie Taylor won just narrowly. With the point off, I would have had her winning by 2 rounds, to be honest. So, I think the scores was correct. And as Daz said there, as far as the fight that she should have next would be Chantal Cameron. That's 1-1. Let's have the rubber match, ideally at Croke Park at some point next year.
Okay, Jack, in the sidebar, mate, if you're still there, give us who you think Katie Taylor should fight next. I think Katie Taylor will have one last fight. It'll be at Croke Park in Ireland. I don't think she'll ever fight again afterwards. I mean, if she went out on this, what a fight to go out on as a swan song. But I think she wants that. She wants that homecoming, and she deserves it. I have a slightly different opinion to you guys. I've been saying since the first fight of Chantel Cameron, just to remind everyone before I say what I'm going to say, that Chantel Cameron deserves this trilogy fight. I don't think it was fair that the second fight was in Ireland. She won the first fight. She should have been the home-time fighter in the second fight. They were both signed to Matchroom. They were both world champions. Why did it go back to Ireland again? I still don't, and she doesn't understand that. And I think that's why she's left Matchroom. She might not say that's why she's left, but I think it is. Don't think she thinks she was being treated equally. And it's hard to be treated equally to the greatest female of all time, I suppose. See the lady that's seen as the golden girl, quite rightly so, because of what she's done with Eddie Hearn. She's paved the way, hasn't she? So, but back to what I was kind of saying. Since that second fight, Chantel Cameron's done a few things. She's changed trainer. She's implementing new techniques and a slightly new style under Grant Smith. And I'm not convinced she's in the right place to be fighting Katie Taylor next. I don't think she's ready for that because of what she's doing with a new coach. I think she needs a couple more fights. She isn't going to get a couple more fights. If that Katie Taylor fight happens, it'll happen in the summer next year. She'll probably get one fight. And I don't think she's ready for that rematch with the style that she's currently using because she's still in a bit of a mixture, in my opinion. We've said this on previous shows. I'm not being disrespectful to her, and I'm certainly not being disrespectful to Grant because he's a great coach in a great gym with a load of world-class fighters. And I've said numerous times, I think Chantel Cameron was the best fighter in the UK. And I think she proved it in that first fight. But I don't think she's quite ready. And it'd be a shame for that trilogy fight to happen if she wasn't right on it. That's my opinion. I also think that Serrano has been hard done to. Certainly hard done to in the first fight. The second fight, I think I agree with you guys. I think the right girl won just. I think Taylor did enough. But I do think Serrano won the first fight. So in my opinion, it's 1-1. I think Amanda Serrano, let's not forget, she's a featherweight. She's not a lightweight, and she's certainly not a super lightweight.
Yeah.
You know, she's won world titles at multiple levels. That's because of how good she is. But it's no coincidence, guys, that she always goes back to featherweight. She gets these opportunities against Katie Taylor. She had one fight at lightweight before she fought Katie Taylor. That was to acclimatise herself to the weight. She had one fight at super lightweight, knowing that this fight was going to happen at super lightweight this time. But she'll go back down to feather because that's her weight.
Yeah, Matchroom are now going to try and feed her to Sky Nicholson. That's what they're going to do. And listen, I don't think she's any interest in fighting Sky, to be fair, because she's going to be running after her all night, isn't she?
Yeah.
I don't think she's got any interest in that. You know, Amanda 38. You know,
Amanda's got a great engine. She's shown it in 2 fights.
Yeah, I don't think
it isn't going to be a very good fight, mate.
No, she's going to be chasing her, mate. She's going to be chasing her, and listen, she'd probably get picked off as well. She's not as quick as she were, and going back down up and down weights is not, you know, it's not a great, you know. Listen, to me, if Katie Taylor doesn't fight Chantel Cameron, Serrano fights Chantel Cameron. Do you know what I mean? Chantel deserves a fight, but I agree with you. And I've said it on our group chat. Katie Taylor starts favourite for me.
Yeah. Jack in the sidebar. I'll come back to you, Daz, in a minute. Jack in the sidebar. He says, Cameron for me. Sadly, Dark Croke part happens as it's a hard issue for boxing. Security costs a lot in Ireland. Jonas only had one left though, so that rematch is not. That rematch, if not. Oh, he's on about Jonas. Jonas fought Katie Taylor once, didn't he? I think that's what he's on about.
Yeah.
That actually, I think a lot of people forget. That was actually a really, really close fight.
Yeah,
Up until the last couple of rounds. Katie Taylor won those last 2 rounds, and that's what won the fight. Jonas boxed brilliantly in that fight, and she's always been itching for that rematch. And I know the question's been asked, and I know that she would jump at that opportunity if she was given it. I don't see that happening. I certainly don't see her ever going back to lightweight. She isn't gonna fight Caroline Dubois. That's not going to happen. I don't understand why she's clinging on to her lightweight titles, because I don't ever see her going back to that weight. I'm surprised that that's not happened and she's not vacated. Yeah, I mean, I hope Croke Park happens for her, Daz. She deserves it, don't she?
Yeah, without a doubt, mate. Without a shadow of a doubt, she does. She's just an absolute trailblazer, isn't she? And let's give Eddie Hearn props as well. So is Eddie, because they couldn't have done it without each other, could they?
That's right.
So they both. And I like the fact that Eddie gets emotional over her as well. After she fought, he was jumping up and down like a lunatic.
Very invested, Daz, and rightly so, because of what he's put into it.
Yeah, I like that because, they've done this journey together. So, listen, she's an amazing fighter, and but sometimes, I mean, she's not the best technically, like we've discussed with that, the falling in situation. But, boy, does she make up for that in will to win? I mean, unbelievable she is.
Sounds crazy that we're saying that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, but it's true fact. She falls in. That's why head clashes happen.
Yeah.
And it's not malicious, like I've said. But yeah, I mean, she's unbelievable, mate. Unreal.
Okay. I mean, Ireland. I mean, surely. Last comment from both of you on this. Surely, Katie Taylor is the number one sports person, not boxer, sports person Ireland's ever had. Surely, Daz?
Best sports person Ireland's ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people will always sway to Barry McGuigan for
that. Because of the way he brought the two.
Yeah. I was just going to say, and I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Obviously, the troubles that were going on in Ireland, and Barry basically, it's well documented that when Barry fought Eusebio Pedrosa, that in pubs in Ireland there was Protestants and Catholics, there was IRA and their opposition, and they were all together, and there was there were peace that night, and Barry did that. So
he did, mate, all by himself, and I've said that in tweets as well. Previously, I've put that out on X, and got shot down for it.
Well, I don't, mate. Honestly, whoever shot you down needs to give the red a wobble, because Barry did that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
simple as.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, but for longevity of being a world champion, for what she did in the amateurs, and although I adore Barry McGuigan for what he did and what he stands for as a man, I adore him for that. And but I just pip him with Kate.
Listen, if we're going to cover it all, as Ireland's best sports person, you got to chuck Conor McGregor in there as well. As look what he's done.
UFC, UFC,
mixed martial arts, mate. He's changed the game.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And but that we're going on boxing here, so I mean, you've got to say you listen. I'll stick with Barry McGuigan for what he did, because I think the fact he didn't get involved in anything either, leading up to the fight with Pedrosa, obviously, listen, he would have had. I've no doubt, and listen, whether Barry had said that or not, I don't know, but I've no doubt that Barry would have had offers from undesirable factions for sponsorship and all that. And I listen, by all accounts, Barry did everything on his own. And then he united the country.
He's got very, very strong morals, mate, and it proves it in the Panorama documentary that came out a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And the strong opinions he had about said topic on that Panorama documentary. I'm not going to go into it. But anybody that wants to watch it or anyone that hasn't seen it, it's very easy to find.
Yeah.
He had very strong opinions and wasn't scared to say what he had to say about the whole situation. I have nothing but the ultimate respect for Barry McGuigan. A lot of people don't like his comments on certain things, but he says it how it is, and he don't care what people think about what he says, and I respect that. Sean, who do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking boxing wise, probably Barry McGuigan. But as overall Irish sports, there's so many. There's George Best, there's Brian O'Driscoll. The list goes on, really. But probably, yeah, if we're speaking boxing specifically, yeah, probably Barry McGuigan, I'd say.
Okay. That brings us fantastically to the end of that topic, lads, and we'll move straight on to last night's card over in Saudi Arabia in an all-purpose built new arena, all singing, all dancing, looked absolutely spectacular. Even had little tables at the ringside seats. I saw with lots of champagne going on. I mean, we have to talk about the dress sense of a certain man that runs Golden Boy Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya. What the hell was he wearing? I mean, you gotta give him props for being traditional. It was a fantastic outfit, but geez.
Mate, is it only me? Like, every time I saw Oscar De La Hoya, I started going.
That's exactly what it's about, isn't it?
Yeah, was it just me who kept doing that, or what? In my head.
I mean, you got. I mean, he's a very likable character in Oscar De La Hoya. He says a lot of stuff.
Can you address these comments in sidebar, please?
Hold on. I haven't seen him because I had my topics up. Where are we? One sec. Sorry. Okay. So, Cole's putting politics to one side. Frampton book is an interesting read, and I don't see McGuigan dragging him to court. So let's just slow down on the morals and all that.
My counter to that is, no matter what happened between Frampton and McGuigan, does that take away the fact of what Barry did?
No.
That night, no. Barry, for one night there was no bombings and no shootings. Barry united people. People who hated each other, who absolutely had hatred for each other. So, no matter what he did as a manager later on in life and whatever, you can't take that away from him.
100%. Cole, you're obviously very entitled to your opinion, mate. I know you're not the only one that comes on the show that has this opinion as well, having read Frampton's book, but it's a one-sided book of Frampton's opinions. I'm sure Barry McGuigan will bring his own out, and he'll have his side, and then maybe let's see what you think about those comments. He's put, I am speaking as a personality and morals. That is the comment I am countering. So you don't think he's got any personality and you don't think he's got any morals? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Again, it's your opinion, mate. I don't agree with you one little bit. I think he's proved in his actions throughout the years that he's got outstanding morals as a boxing promoter, as a as a man that stands for what he believes in. If you don't stand for what he believes in, that's fine. But you got to give him credit for standing for what he believes in. If it wasn't true, and it is quite damning, he'd have taken him to court.
We're not talking about him v Frampton, though. We're talking about what he did when he united a country that was at war with itself. You know, we're not talking about the Frampton issues.
I mean, I think it's a bit harsh of you to damn a person for a situation with one other person, whether it be true or not. But like I say, you're entitled to your opinion, mate. I think his morality can be questioned on the back of Frampton's book. And again, if it wasn't true, he would have taken him to court. Have you read the book? No, I haven't. But even if I did, and what Frampton, you're saying, is in that book, and what Frampton has got in that book, I wouldn't change my opinion on what I think of Barry McGuigan and what he did in his boxing career. Why would I? You know, I'm sure there's millions of boxers over the years that have done things in the personal life or as a person outside of their actual boxing career that have done things that are questionable. But does that mean the boxing career and what they stood for as a boxer has to be questioned as well? I think you're being a little bit too literal. But like I say once again, mate, you're well entitled to your opinion. Okay, let's get back onto Saturday night's card, lads. We'll start straight at the top of the bill. Zurdo Ramirez beats Chris Billam-Smith to unify the cruiserweight boxing WBO, WBA belts. The scorecards read 116, 112 twice, and 116, 113. Sean, straight to you, mate. Give us your instant reaction to what went down last night.
Yeah, I thought the fight went how I would have thought it would beforehand, to be honest. I expected Billam-Smith to lose, but I have written him off in the past. But unfortunately, I think he showed sort of his limitations last night. I think they both did in a way. I think arguably they're probably the two most beatable world champions in cruiserweight at present. I think Jaya Patai will have no trouble whatsoever with either of them. But I think in terms of the fight, it was a great entertaining fight. Both got hit an awful lot, I felt. Both showed good chins. And overall, it was an entertainment fight. And I felt the right man won. I had it a bit wider. I think I had it 117, 110. But I think Billam-Smith showed his toughness and heart, as he often does. But ultimately, come up short.
You put something on our WhatsApp group earlier on that Shane McGuigan had posted.
Yeah.
Can you give us a broad outline of what that was? I know you probably haven't got it in front of you, so you can't read it for word, but
yeah. Well, for me, it looked like it was a bit of a retirement statement on Billam-Smith's behalf, to be honest. He was sort of praising him for the career he's had, said he come 7 years ago as a sparring partner. He can have no regrets on his career, what he's achieved so far and to date. So sort of how he worded it in his Instagram story, it seemed to me that he was sort of advocating for Billam-Smith to call it a day, probably earned life-changing money last night in Saudi too. So I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see him fight again after what he posted this afternoon.
So I think there was certain parts of that were really interesting. Shane, and he wasn't making excuses, I don't think, for 1 second. Am I right in thinking that correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to misword it and put things in Shane's mouth that aren't actually right. Am I right in thinking that he said that CBS went into this fight with a broken hand and damaged ribs?
I think I don't know if he got them in the fight. I don't know
if he broke it into the fight or if he went into it with it.
What, before the fight?
That's how I read it.
Well, that's crazy. If he's been allowed to fight with that, if he's got him in the fight, then fair enough. You adapt to it if you can.
I might have read it. I might have read that wrong, Daz. So, like I say, that's why I said I don't.
Yeah. I mean, if he has gone into the fight with them, then that's just madness.
It probably tells you a lot about the man. Now, maybe whether someone should have taken that out of his hands is another matter. And it depends how bad the injury is, I guess. So, yeah, I mean, there's been comments from various people that they haven't really given Chris Smith, in my opinion, the respect he's deserved. Socials have done it a lot, and saying that he's going to get beat by any of the big boys he's been in with. He's always answered the questions. I mean, I'll hold my hands up. I thought Richard Riakporhe was the best cruiserweight in the UK. I thought he was going to beat Chris Smith, but Chris proved me wrong. Akola. Most people thought he was going to get beat by Akola. He destroyed Akola. I think Chris is a lot better fighter than people have ever given him credit for. I hope now, after the grit and heart and determination and sheer bravery that he showed on Saturday night, it was staggering. I mean, I don't know about you boys, but after about round 5 or round 6, I thought it was done. I thought he was going to last another round or so.
Yeah. Listen, when around 8 or 9, I was sort of thinking, should he be pulled out? Because
look how strong he came on in those last couple
of
rounds.
Yeah, he did, but sometimes you've got to be saved from the self, aren't there? And I don't think he carried the power to hurt Ramirez, to be fair. He hit him with some clean shots and just didn't really. Whereas when Zurdo hit Billum Smith, even though Zurdo was not a puncher, he were having a bit of an effect on him. He wasn't wobbling him and having him out on his feet, but he was stopping him in his tracks. He was just really, his timing was really good, Zurdo. He was picking shots. And he had the better feet as well, to be fair. I just thought maybe Billum Smith could have been saved from himself a little bit. But then, he come on, and listen, you just can't question the kid's art, can you? He's absolutely hard as nails.
I mean, Zurdo's proved the quality of boxer he is.
Yeah.
And I think even Shane admitted in the presser that Zurdo was a better boxer. He was the better boxer of the two. They weren't under no illusions what the fight was going to be and how they were going to have to tackle it. It was all good. It was always going to have to be about grit, heart, and determination, and try and drag Zurdo into something that he might not have been in at cruiserweight.
He started really well as well.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, Zurdo answered those questions.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of adjusted. He took some shots. I mean, to be fair, they both get it too much to duo with J.R. Pataya, to be fair. But Zurdo's at least got that movement with his feet where he can try and get out way. Do you know what I mean? I think we've had a bit of a blessing that it's not going to be Billum Smith fighting J.R. Pataya, to be fair, because I pretty much think that Jay would just stop him. He'd just proper open him up, I think. And I wouldn't want to see that. I wouldn't want to see that.
How does the J.R. Pataya Zurdo fight pan out for you?
Yeah, I think Jay stopped Zurdo. I think round 8, 9. I think he'll break him down because the punches Billum Smith landed, J.R. Pataya's going to land him. You can't ignore that fact. So
Chris landed some clean shots, didn't he?
Yeah. So you've got to pick up Pataya, to be fair. Zurdo will pose a few little issues maybe with his feet and his crisp shots. but nothing that'll trouble Opetaya for me.
Sean, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think Opetaya probably stops him mid to late, to be honest, around 8 or 9. I can see him getting to him gradually and wearing him down.
Just very quickly before we move on to a couple more fights on this card. At the end of the show, they brought up a little bit of a screenshot when they went pan back to the studio. They brought up a screenshot of 3 weight divisions: light heavy, cruiserweight, and heavyweight. 3 possible opponents, the 3 main champions in the divisions for Zurdo. I mean, given the fact that he's obviously fought and won world titles at the divisions below, and he's tempting Usyk to if Usyk comes through the Fury fight to come back down to cruiserweight to fight him at cruiserweight. I don't see Usyk doing that. I mean, do you see the monster at light heavyweight taking him on? Would that be a possibility? Would Zurdo go back down to light heavyweight?
I mean, if he did, he don't beat Beterbiev. And I don't think Beterbiev moves up either. I think Beterbiev's just going to cement himself as one of the best light heavyweights ever, and he's going to be happy with that.
I don't think he's got long left anyway, Daz.
No, I mean, probably another Bivol, depending on how that goes.
Yeah.
Could be a trilogy, and then I think that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. I mean, the reality is he's probably got to fight Jai, hasn't he?
Yeah, you'd say so. I think he wants to as well. We were talking, so
I don't think he's scared to.
No, not at all. No, not at all.
And with his movement, mate, he'll feel he's got chances in that fight.
Yeah, he'd have to be really on point, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he's going to get hit off Jai, isn't he? I mean, he's not going to avoid Jai for, you know. But yeah, interesting fight.
This card, I forgot to mention at the top of this topic. This card, in my opinion, was a feeler for the 5v5 because they've got 3 fighters on this card that they wanted in the 5v5. We spoke about this, didn't we, on the last Sunday show? We had it as a topic with Porcan, and we ran through them, Daz, of the people that were potentially on that going to be on that 5v5 card, and the ones that were supposedly going to be on there was Ramirez if he came through Billiams. No, sorry, not Ramirez. Was Jose Ramirez, potentially fighting Jack Catterall. We're going to get onto the Jose Ramirez fight in a second. William Zepeda potentially fighting Shakur Stevenson.
They need to keep Zepeda away from Shakur.
Again, we'll come on to that in a second. And Oscar Duarte potentially fighting Devin Haney. So let's go to the co-main, which was Jose Ramirez against Arnold Barboza. Light heavyweight fight, 10-rounder.
Light welter.
Sorry. Super lightweight even.
Super
lightweight fight, which didn't go the way people were expecting it to. Unanimous points decision win for Arnold Barboza. 96-94 on 2 of the scorecards and 97-93 on the other one. That puts the cat amongst the pigeons. We'll talk about Catterall in a minute. Sean, I'll come to you first. Are you surprised at the result?
Yeah, I was. I mean, to be honest, I didn't see a great deal of Barboza before last night, so I was expecting it to be a bit of a touch from Ramirez, to be honest. And I thought it was completely outboxed, but Barboza looked really good to me and very, very deserving of the decision. I've got no qualms with the cards, and it'd be interesting to see if they put him in with Catterall next.
Absolutely. I think we all thought, Daz, Ramirez had got plenty left in the tank.
He looked shot.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked shot, mate. Yeah. He didn't look the same fighter. Definitely not.
Catterall's come out on socials virtually directly after saying he wanted Ramirez, but he's quite happy to take Barbosa. It looks like that's what will probably happen in the 5v5. I mean, that's where the money's at for Barbosa, no matter what he wants to do.
Boring fight alert.
How do you see that? I know you're not a fan of Jack Catterall with his style.
No, I am. I'm a fan of Jack, but I'm not a fan of Jack how he goes about things.
Yeah.
Sometimes he doesn't need to. He can fight. He can box. He doesn't need to be that negative. I mean, Barbosa's a bit of a backfooter as well, so can't see
maybe a bit of a stalemate.
Yeah, possibly.
Sean, how do you see that one panning out?
I think it's not going to be the most entertaining of fights, let's be honest. But I think it'd be one for the purists, if you like. And I think probably Catterall will edge it, but I think it'll be quite close.
Okay. The last fight of the night, last fight of the show, lads, to be covered. And that's the steam train that has been William Zepeda. He went in against, I mean, let's be right, an aging Tevin Farmer. I think most people thought that Zepeda would get Farmer out of there at some point in the fight. He's looked heavy-handed. He's looked devastating in every aspect of the fights he's been in. Daz, have we seen a bit of a chink in his armour here?
Yeah, possibly. He's been that relentless through his career. You think, yeah, this guy's a bit. I mean, listen, I said I thought Shakur would beat him, but Zepeda could also be a great fighter. I think listen, the blueprint's there now, innit? How to beat him. Tevin Farmer's shown the way, and Tevin Farmer's not half the fighter Shakur Stevenson is. So I can't, Shakur wins that fairly comfortable for me.
I mean, William Zepeda is devastating if you're a fighter that's going to stand and try and trade with him.
Yeah.
World beater if you're going to stand and fight and try and trade with him, because boxing isn't just about movement, is it? But if you're a world-class mover that can also punch, and you can get his respect by being a puncher as well as a slick fighter, he might be in a bit of trouble. How did you score the fight, Gaz?
I had it a draw, to be fair.
Did you?
Yeah, I had it a draw. Zepeda showed some character, to be fair, which is a positive. But yeah, I had it a draw, close. Okay,
just before I come to you, Sean, Jack in the side paw, he says Farmer nicked it for him.
Yeah, close fight. Again, I can't argue with someone who has Farmer nicking it. Really.
Very close. Sean, were you the same as us on Zepeda? Were you seeing this brilliant fighter that looked like he was going all the way?
I was, yeah. I was a bit surprised last night, to be honest. I mean, wasn't Maxie Hughes his fight previous to this, and he just
he
took
Maxie apart.
Yeah. So I was expecting him to do something similar with Farmer, to be honest. And I think Zepeda sort of, as Daz touched on there, he's shown the blueprint how to beat him, and Shakur will just play with him, I think, and he'll beat him comfortably. But I was surprised how wide the scores was in Zepeda's favour, to be honest. I didn't really see how they got to those scores. I personally agree with Jack. I had Farmer just about nicking it. But for me, I think they're going to avoid Shakur at all costs. It wouldn't be surprised if they put him in with someone of a similar level to Farmer next, even rematch him and then sort of build him up again. Maybe do the Shakur fight 18 months if he's still at the weight.
Interesting. I don't like finishing these shows on a kind of a negative feel or a negative comment, but the arena does.
Yeah.
It's empty, wasn't it?
Not good, mate. Worry. I mean, the best thing about it were those group of Latinos who were.
They kept going to him, didn't they? Because that was like you say, that was the best part of the arena.
Yeah, but they sort of.
To be fair though,
they sort of messed up though, Andy. They sort of messed up by going to them, because when they went to them, you could see all the empty seats.
They should have zoomed in before they open the shot up to the live camera. I don't know. I think on the whole they did a fairly good job of covering what was a vast empty arena. I mean, I know that all the money's there. I'm still not convinced about how this works for fighters, because fighters like atmosphere. Fighters work off of atmosphere and off of crowd reaction, and I really did feel for. I mean, these are world-class fighters fighting for world titles, and you got to feel for them going into a venue like that, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, this is an all-purpose built arena. They're going to use this again. It didn't look that big. What did it hold? Does anybody know what it held?
I don't know.
Like about 10,000, maybe 20.
Possibly.
I don't think it was 20,000, was it? It wasn't a gigantic arena.
No, it didn't look massive. It looked like a theatre. It looked like a theatre.
Yeah, maybe even less than 10, maybe 5,000.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised that maybe, and this is something that maybe the Riyadh season marketing team need to work on. If they can't sell the seats, give them away.
Yeah.
Just fill the arena.
Yeah.
That's something they're not bothered about, because they ain't got to. It's not like they've got to sell the tickets because they've got to make the money to pay the fighters. That part of it, that part of the business, it just isn't important. They don't need it, so they're not concentrating on the marketing side of selling the live tickets for the venue. They're doing a great job everywhere else. They've now joined DAZN, and that's all singing and all dancing. It's a massive freight train that's just going to keep on rolling. I just wish they'd do something about that live feel.
Yeah, it needs something, mate.
Echoey and emptied, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sean, anything to add to that before we go?
I mean, I don't know how this will work logistically, but I know during the World Cup, when it was in Qatar, they had sort of special licenses and dispensations for alcohol. I mean, I'm not too clued up. I know it's a Muslim country again, but maybe even if they'd done something like that for the boxing, where they introduced alcohol in the venue for the weekend, even getting Brits over, that would be a big incentive. Even the Mexicans, they all love a drink, so maybe that's something they could consider.
Did they have alcohol in the venues in the football games?
Yeah, at the stadiums they did, and I think they even had some like pop-up bars at the time as well. So it's not completely against their convention and their beliefs. So maybe, if they really want the atmosphere, that could be something they could go down.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I think they need to go down the route of. I mean, they're trying to build the boxing venues and the people that become fighters and go to gyms in Saudi Arabia. Why not give them to schools? Why not give them to teenagers? Why not look at that? Why not give them to fighters in gyms? Give them, just get to the gyms. Give them to the fighters that are in the gyms.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Just fill the arena. If you're not bothered about selling the tickets, and clearly they're not that bothered because they haven't marketed it, give them away. Just fill it up. Get some atmosphere in there, and it would make for a completely different night. Just my opinion, guys. I don't want to knock them for it, because, like I say, they're doing massive things, and most of it is positive. Right, going to bring the show to a close there, boys. It's been great having you on. Another lovely weekend of boxing. We'll continue again on Thursday night, in the same way we always do at 7:00. If you're watching the show for the first time, either live or on the replay, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll get notifications when we go live. You'll also get notifications when new interviews drop. We go down and do interviews at shows at gyms. Lots of stuff going to be dropping on the channel in the next few weeks. Please follow, subscribe. The more people we get watching the channel, the more we can put on here. I hope you enjoy what we do. Thanks for everyone's comments in the sidebar. Jack, Cole, everybody's points of view are welcome. We don't always have to agree. That's the point of the show. This has been Last Ball Boxing, and we'll see you